Okay, we've hit the part of the podcast where we're talking about Montreal, and I'm going to give a little thoughts on it.
And I figured at some point,
like I said, Brett and Sean. Well, no, Sean and Brett.
Thing that I could ever give anybody.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it.
Because
Brian's got some questions.
chose Sean.
So that's one thing that's going to get brought up.
November.
I don't want to get too deep into it.
1997.
If not him, then who?
I think honestly, before they get into it, if Montreal didn't happen and Brett didn't go to WCW, Owen will still be here.
Montreal Screwjob. Mm-hmm. Was you there for that?
Yeah, I was. Mm-hmm.
How was that backstage afterwards?
Tense.
Bad.
Very tense.
Did they talk backstage afterwards?
So
he hadn't seen the docu.
The screw job happens. We're all not Vince yet. Not Vince and his guys are not there yet, but we're in the dressing room.
Briscoe and Patterson.
Vince and Briscoe and
yeah, they're not there yet.
Okay.
But I'm in the dressing room with Brett and Neidhart, Davey Boy, Sean's there, I'm there. They're kind of chirping back and forth, and it's there's just a lot.
Brett was probably pissed at Sean.
Oh yeah. He totally, he totally believed that Sean was part of it. And I was like, oh man, this is bad. So I get up and I go to get Vince. I'm like, Vince has got to, he's got to do something.
He needs to smooth this over.
There's no smooth this over, Justin.
We got to have this. Well, so I get up and I go out of the dressing room. And
you can't smooth this over, bud.
I was probably 20 feet, and Vince was already on his way. And he's got Bruce and Shane and Patterson. And
Shane
Briscoe
was so young.
Him. So I go back, and then I throw everybody out of the dressing room that really wasn't part of Team Brett.
So you're the mediator at this point.
Sort of, yeah. So there was.
He was the leader, locker room.
Be in there for whatever was about to happen.
Right.
So I made everybody else leave. I got them out of the dressing room. So again, there's Brett and Davey Boy, Neidhart. Sean is sitting down there.
Hunter.
And Vince and his guys come and sit across.
Hunter was outside, excuse me.
Where Brett was.
With Julie.
Well, yeah, he just, and then he started explaining it. I went and sat right next to Sean.
Hated him at that point.
They're going back.
Take or hate Sean.
Vince is trying to explain, why he had to do it, and Brett's very nonchalant. He's getting undressed, and he's explaining to Vince that I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to get dressed, and if you're here, I'm going to knock you out. It was wasn't screaming. It was just very matter of fact. This is what's going to happen.
Very like Stu Hardish.
Yeah, and so they're kind of going back and forth, and then I remember Sean trying to pipe in a little bit, and I just reached over and I grabbed his leg, and I was just like, no,
don't push it right now.
No, just.
Now, at that time, were you and Sean on good terms, or y'all still kind of?
We're still. I mean, we're better than we were, but we're still not. We're not even close.
Not buddies.
Yeah,
I heard that he didn't like him.
Stretch the imagination. So what I just kind of gradually said, no, you might just want to just sit there and chill.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't the focus of this, right? It was Vince.
He didn't
Brett
need to be focused.
Yeah, he didn't need to. He didn't need to do it. And of course, when you get all caught up in it, you want to defend yourself, or you want to whatever. And
so you don't think Sean knew about it?
No, Sean knew about it. He definitely knew about it. But I'm just saying
were Sean and Brett friends going into that?
Well, no, they'd already.
Justin.
They had issues over some.
Justin.
Hey guys.
You got an ad here, so Justin.
Two changes.
No. They hate each other. Like I have said, you will never have a rivalry that will ever top Brett and Sean, because they freaking hated each other, man. I'm gonna skip this ad. But they were probably friends till Mania 12. And after that, no.
Yeah, no, they
should he have probably, though, before they went out, said, hey, here's what's going to happen? You don't do that.
Well, so So Brett didn't want to drop the title. Brett
He didn't want to drop it in Montreal.
On the next night, he was going to WCW. Right. Brett didn't want to go to. He didn't want to leave WWE. He got his hand forced. And but
Vince
the thing
was the bad guy
he
in
didn't
all
want to
this.
drop the belt.
To Sean.
He didn't want to drop the belt to Sean. He had his reasons. You got to.
He didn't want to drop it to Sean.
Tell you all the details.
Canada.
Did it steal from the Iron Man, the Iron Man match?
Well, it just it stemmed
It
from
started with Iron Man.
Two egos that did.
Bubby, let me tell you, historian. So when Sean won in the Iron Man match, he's got the belt, he's doing his thing, and he's like, "Get the F out my ring." There might have been a time that Brett and Sean were friends before Mania 12, but after Mania 12, it was like, you know what? I just did the favor for you at Mania, and you're going to act like that? Okay. But then they had the personal issues of, Sean calling Brett out saying, "I've heard you had some sunny days," when it was really Sean banging Sunny.
Really,
I digress.
Which was an amazing match, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
The hour-long match.
Those guys. Those two
61
guys
minutes.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, both of them. They could have great matches with broomsticks.
I was about to say that, actually.
Entertained.
Right.
But there was a lot of animosity already coming into it, and I think at one point Brett was going to drop it, but then he decided that he wasn't going to drop it to Sean. And
They hated each other.
you just couldn't let Brett leave with the WWE title and show up.
Okay, like I said, I've not watched this part yet. But, Alundra Blaze, her girl, Medusa, whatever you want to call her, she left with the title. She went to WCW. She went on camera and dropped it in the trash can. Vince thinking, I've had a talent go on my mortal enemy's television and drop my title in the trash can. This can't happen.
Going to WCW.
Yeah, and show up on their show with our title. You just couldn't do it.
It's happened.
So that's why the Screwjob happened. They had to get the title off of Brett.
Because, it was a war back then.
Oh yeah. We're already
83 weeks.
We're in it at that point.
You've already dealt with the women's title being dumped in the trash can. And
I ain't
everything
seen this
else.
yet.
Blaze goes over, takes the women's WWE, drops it in the trash can on there. So you couldn't let the WWE title go to WCW and let whatever they would do. It was just it hurt me because at that point I'm really good friends with Brett, and there's nobody that I'd ever rather work than Sean. Right? It's really an unfortunate situation.
That's something to say.
It just kind of circumstances led us to that point, and a really tough decision had to be made. And
When he came out of the shower, was Vince gone?
no,
He stayed?
he stayed.
Knocked the crap out of him. Black eye.
It did.
It did.
Yeah, Brett got up. Once he got dressed, he got up, just started walking across the dressing room. Everybody kind of stood up, and he launched a punch that I have no idea how it got through all these people. Hit Vince right in the temple. Vince went down. That was it. I don't know how it got through. I have no idea how that punch got through, but it did. It was like
Divine intervention.
Well, Vince knew he was going to hit him. But, yeah. He figured that, and I've heard Vince say this out of Satan's mouth himself. He was going to let Brett knock him out. Well, punch him.
Lord knew Vince needed punch.
it happened, man. It hit him, and he went down like a ton of bricks.
He
man.
did.
The Lord knew.
And I was like, oh.
It really happened.
It did. It just, wow.
He told him what was going to happen.
He told him, did
And this whole time, poor Hunter is out there with Julie Hart. Oh, yeah, Hunter. Oh, yeah. And I bet you knew. I bet you knew the whole time. Bless you, God. Now, like I said, Hunter, Brett and Sean were my top 3. So I have gone through their whole careers, and even recently I watched, since the pandemic happened, I watched the late 90s Monday Night Raws back to back to back to back to back. And I went through Montreal. So I saw it go from, I think, like 1996 to 1999. I've learned and studied I've studied Sean's career, basically. But, like I said, I was in love with him.
He matter-of-factly told him that I'm going to punch you and knock you out. And then I'm going to leave. And that's exactly what he did.
Shane said it was cartoonish the way he fell down.
Leaving the ring,
Oh, yeah.
He did WCW.
I don't know, $10,000 monitors at the time. Which was what.
And Sean's like, what's going on, man?
TVs that would stick up out of the announce booth.
Sean.
Yeah, they didn't give those away, especially back then. The budget wasn't quite what it is now.
I've got a question.
I love
With
Justin.
the tables, you might not can answer this. 'Cause
Okay.
it's like the whole
So, let's go back to Montreal. Sean was an asshole, flat out. But there was no one at this time, and I don't think then, now, forever, that could out-wrestle Shawn Michaels. Nobody could outperform Shawn Michaels. End of story. End of discussion. I won't even have the discussion with you. And like he said, he could go out there with this bottle and have the best match of the show. And I think it was the first match of Mania, the first Shawn Taker match at Mania, where Hunter had to wrestle Randy after, and he said following those two was just damn near impossible, because he was Mr. WrestleMania for a reason. And Sean had the arrogance to go with it too, because he would sit there and go have the match of the night on a Monday and go to the back and say, beat that or follow that. The Sean of the 90s, 96, 97, was the biggest jerk of the world. But he could go up there and make it happen. And I just unapologetically an asshole. But he also went out there and did everything to make that the best match of the night. And I heard Hunter say recently that Sean, after Mania 14, he wished he died after WrestleMania 10, because then he would have gone out on top. Best in the world. Because he was so messed up with pain and all the issues that he had. But Sean could outperform everyone. And even in the state that he was in, mentally, physically, and with his problem of addiction, that man could still go out there and perform. And Hunter took care of that man, and I'm so thankful for it. But Brett could not have gone out there. Brett was technical. Okay? He was trained by his daddy. And for what it's worth, Brett was a technician. And he couldn't do the things that Sean could. And I don't know if Sean could do everything that Brett could, but for Brett to be as technical as he was, he could not outperform Sean. And that's just, there's no argument. I won't even listen to an argument about it. Of my lifetime, Sean is the best. I'm sorry, Brett, but he was the best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. But yeah, Montreal was awful. Thanks for asking. And it sucked as a fan because, like I said, Sean and Brett, those are my guys. I was a DX fan. Okay? I was 9 years old telling people to suck it. Not having the parts. You know? But Shawn was just this God-given talent that cannot be manufactured today. At all. That's why I love Shawn so much, and I do get kind of emotional talking about him because I got to witness the very best of Shawn and the very, very best of Shawn. I got to see the jerk and the clear-minded guy. And I'm so thankful that I did. But
trick, you don't give away. Is there like pins in the table that they pull before there's a spot on the table to make it come apart?
I love Justin though. I do.
I honestly, I don't know how they do it, but I do know it depends.
I'm glad
on,
Shawn didn't really go through tables
like whether or not they want.
like that.
Sometimes they reinforce the table so that it makes sure that it doesn't break, and then there's other times where I would imagine where it's
I've enjoyed this podcast. I really have. Justin's a great dude.
Because I've always thought maybe there's like just a couple pins in there, and like if you take the pins, it makes it way less stable, and the table just collapses.
If you haven't watched yet, watch The Undertaker with Donald Trump. Trump has had his hand in wrestling for years.
Of the table, I know it's.
I think we had 2 WrestleManias in a row
The guy who's giving a bump
at his arena, or he whatever.
Of the table of the pieces. Oh, yeah.
He was part of it.
They shoot out, right?
Very knowledgeable too about the business.
Takes the bump on the tables in probably the best position.
I had a picture of Trump on my wall. That's hot dang. I'm gonna get a video of my wall. I have pictures of everything. So
sides out in my day. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure you did.
Go check out Justin Danger Nunley and The Undertaker on 6 Feet Under.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
Oh, I want to hear this.
Mount Rushmore of wrestlers.
4. You only get 4. It's not 5.
It's not 5, Justin.
Man,
Shawn?
Stone Cold Taker.
Welcome back to Papa John's. I'm hand stuffing this mozzarella to make our epic stuffed
Or
crust.
whatever. So it'll be Shawn Hunter,
We're making you
Brett Owens
stuffed crust pizza for $13.
from my childhood. Okay? If I had to do for my adulthood, Shawn and Hunter, Cena and Orton. If I couldn't put Shawn and Hunter, John, Randy, Jericho of today. Of the 2000s. Jericho and Hogan.
I can live with that. I think Macho
Jericho.
Man gets a little underrated a lot of times. I think a lot of people don't think
Macho's.
Oh, no. Can I change?
I guess it's. I mean, it's
Ultimate Warrior instead of Macho Man.
I can argue with you on that one.
Ultimate Warrior.
Put Macho over Ultimate Warrior.
I loved watching.
What was my 4th? I didn't. Like, I was listening to Justin. It'll be today. If I couldn't have Hunter and Shawn, it would be Cena, Orton, Jericho, and The Miz. Sorry, The Miz.
And him having to do that promo too is one of my favorite, where he is pissed at Vince. Why am I doing this? You know. And it was such a bad promo.
Oh,
I know what he's talking about.
Here, man. His promos they were a little different.
Yeah, he was out there as a.
It would be between the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man. It's like whichever coked out wrestler you really want there, you know? Because I mean they were hyper, boy.
Justin.
Oh, that's a true fan's perspective. Right? Yeah. He was tweaking worse.
Remember that WrestleMania one where he didn't blink the entire time and he was really psychotic? That was crazy times, bro. Crazy times. And that was Warrior, by the way, not Randy Savage.
We got a Undertaker Macho Man impression before we got GTA 6.
I'm pure.
Undertaker dueling the Macho Man before GTA 6. I'm dead. I love you, Justin.
So I told
I'm just enjoying this, okay?
Don't you come back no more.
I'm enjoying Justin and his kid on here.
Right, you cannot drink this.
Well, I mean, I know. Obviously.
You cannot drink the hard seltzer. So, just to give you a little backstory, the first his first introduction into pro wrestling was WrestleMania 34. Right?
Nice.
Okay. I took him to WrestleMania 34.
34.
We're sitting in
Look,
suite,
I can't remember this
and he had
shit.
never watched wrestling in
That's
his
my
life.
34.
But I had a friend call me and said, "Hey, I've got a suite. Here, let me help you out. Just right there. Yep. There you go.
What happened at 34? What are we on?
Well, I wanted him to go with me because I didn't want to ride all the way over to New Orleans by myself.
Sean retired at 26. I don't know.
I conned him into doing it. I was like, dude, it's all the Dr. Pepper you can drink. This dude's like Forrest Gump. Right? He's like, Dr. Pepper, I'm there. Right? So we went, and I'm sure they're fixing to show the clip because I sent it to Matt of
Oh, that Mania.
Bryant.
Okay.
When the tone hit.
Right.
And then the flames. Terrified.
Sweet.
I didn't want to actually admit I was terrified, but
You could see it all over his face. It was horror. He didn't know what to
It was
think.
Armageddon, right? It was,
And it was awesome. I was like,
I had an Undertaker moment when they came to town. They had SmackDown here. It was in Columbia, though. It was when he was going against Mr. Kennedy, and Kennedy came through the crowd, and Kennedy stepped on my foot. That was a fun time.
He has been hooked on wrestling ever since. I mean, like, still to this day. That was 2018, and we're sitting in 2024 right now. He still loves wrestling.
Awesome,
And
man.
I said, we're getting to meet the Undertaker. I want you to come up with a few questions that you can ask him.
Like, I want to hear this,
Yeah.
man. I'm excited.
So now's your time to
Here
shine.
we go, man.
okay.
And you're auditioning for could be my new guest host.
Let's go.
Got that
Love
for one for a while.
Okay. So I have like the most simple questions ever. Like,
I have
so
questions
simple.
for Sean if I ever used to
First
interview
one I
him.
had, and you don't have.
I've
to
never
answer
heard
it.
him answer.
Like, what do you think is like the weirdest storyline that Vince has ever like pitched? Like,
That has been
The boss man
pitched.
and,
I'm talking about
and
Vince.
Al Snow's dog,
pitched
Pepper.
pitched by Vince. Like, I'm talking like anyone.
Like, you didn't have to be accepted. Like,
It didn't have to be accepted, but he just pitched it and like.
That's actually a good question.
Big Show's daddy.
So pitched it for me
For
or
anyone.
Anybody.
It had to be the whole Katie Vick thing.
Yes!
Kane.
Yeah. Okay. That.
Does that make sense?
Which one is it?
Katie Vick, where his
Dead girlfriend.
and
He made love to a dead woman.
Oh my God!
That
he
was the
dipped
whole
into
story.
Why does your son know this and you don't, Justin?
actual.
What was that little slur I just had? Am I having a stroke?
Was everybody like,
What?
what?
Why? Yeah, it's often considered one of the worst segments ever.
It was.
in WWE.
It was.
Some of those Val Venus segments were wild.
Yeah, they were wild, and there was a lot lot of
Innuendo
there. But the Katie Vick thing.
Look at me and Taker
was
being on top of each other's
really
page.
bad. Yeah, it was. You just go back, check it out. Yeah.
Don't do
That's
it.
a good question.
Justin,
Yeah.
please don't.
Okay, next one. Let me go ahead. Can I just guess what your favorite Mania match is, like, ever?
Shawn Michaels at 25.
Shawn Michaels.
No doubt about it.
Okay. Do you have like a least favorite?
Oh, good lord. I got man.
The one with Brock at Mania.
Least favorite Mania.
I got some real stinkers. I would probably have to go. Let me figure out what number it was. 7, 8. Probably
If you don't get it right, you're screwed, bro.
Yeah, they'll kill me.
You're done.
Probably WrestleMania 9, Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, that was when against
Palace against
yes.
Giant Gonzalez.
Ugh.
It was
awful.
I've seen clips of it.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Yeah,
I watched it.
Brett said it was pretty bad.
and that's giving it too much credit, Brian.
Yeah.
So it's pretty bad. Yeah, that's probably my least favorite.
I bet that kid is
WrestleMania 9,
shaking his
I
boots.
pray to God he got it wrong. Please, I hope you got that number wrong.
Is it 10? Wait.
It's
wait.
9. WrestleMania 10 was the ladder match.
No, I think I'm right.
It was 9.
I pray he's not right. There's nothing that's going
Justin, you're evil. Evil.
Anyway,
He's nervous.
these guys.
It was 9 because Mania 10 was the ladder match.
And
Like all the marks that just like delete all the paragraphs they had. Yeah, because they had like a full paragraph just written. Just
ready to roast you.
yes, they will too. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that were said in this episode that they'll kill
The
me
comment
for.
section's gonna have fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't give. I don't. Doesn't
They
matter.
always got something.
Oh yeah. Everybody's got an opinion.
And an asshole.
What was my other ones? Oh, it's kind of like the same thing, but it's like, do you have like a match like you would change, like from either not happening or just change like the whole booking of it?
Taker, what's with these dang? You got enough money, bub? These commercials and ads.
Well, there's a lot of matches I wish I didn't have.
Goldberg.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Oh God, 2018
Yeah,
with Hunter and Sean
I
and
wanted
Kane.
to have the match. I just obviously the outcome.
Oh, that was
of it
awful.
wasn't, good.
Oh God,
And
I didn't watch it.
Maybe the Brothers of Destruction and DX.
Oh my gosh.
that was in Saudi Arabia too.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that.
Who
I haven't
has
watched.
that one figured out. Like,
Right.
there's over 120 years of ring experience.
That's the dream match.
That's the dream match.
And y'all screwed it up.
Like I could just just call one in. That would have been it. Like I was like, this is going to be cake. This is going to be easy. I've got myself and 3 of the greatest workers in the history of the business. We can do this one in our sleep, and it just turned into a complete train wreck. I mean,
Kane's mask fell off.
2 or 3 minutes in,
Hunter
Triple
tore
H tears a
something.
pec.
That looked nasty the next day.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Shawn Michaels, comes up short on the big moonsault off the top rope.
I didn't
Kane's
watch
mask
it.
comes off. It was just
People told me.
it was a calamity of errors, and
I stopped watching in
we tried to fix
2013.
it, the worse it got.
I watch Mania,
And,
though,
It
every
was
year.
just like, whew. Yeah, I felt bad because I really did. I felt bad for Sean because Sean didn't. Sean had always been steadfast when I retired him at 26.
Because Sean retired Flair, and look how much Flair has done.
For this. And we were like, how easy is this going to be? Right?
Famous last words.
Famous last words.
And now he's up there having to carry it because
because
Hunter
everybody else
tore a pec.
Yeah, and it was a disaster, but
To answer your question earlier.
P.S. I
about
cried when
Brock
Hunter and Sean cut their hair.
Okay.
We just had this discussion on the way over here this
Okay.
morning.
So I'm of the mind it shouldn't have been broken. Like,
right.
I don't think it should have. If it was anyone,
too.
it was Roman because he was the one that.
Need to put over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Selfishly, it would have been great if it had never been broken. Selfishly, but that's
my
not
opinion
how
of it.
the business works. You pay things forward.
Thanks, Vince.
And I thought it would have been much better for Roman and where Roman was at the time than it would be for Brock.
Yeah.
And I love Brock. I mean, me and Brock are great, and it was good for me because everybody understands what Brock is, and he's a legit dude, right? So beating.
But
beating
he
me,
gained
that's-
nothing.
I got beat by one of the toughest dudes that ever been in the ring, right?
Bray Wyatt would have been a good
As a
idea,
business, I think as a business thing, I think it would have done Roman
Bray Wyatt or Roman.
much better.
Yeah.
It
In the
would have been better
story.
for him
Yeah,
than
Brock was already established.
yeah, absolutely.
Well
Nothing more
established.
he could have had in that company.
Yeah.
And he's on the
Roman
downside
was,
anyway.
Roman was on the cusp, right, of
Yeah.
that next step. And,
Yeah, like he
I think everything worked out all right for him. But I would have much rather given
Yeah,
that
because
to Roman.
around like 2013, 2014, he wasn't getting pushed because he was still with the Shield.
Yes.
So like once he got out of the
I
Shield,
was a
like,
Shield
once
girl.
everything ended, like that's when all of it like took off and they started like pushing him like even more because next year he
Down
fought
your
Roman,
throat.
Yeah.
and then he faced Brock at Mania.
Which why people
So,
hated Cena. Down the throat.
I think
Like
it was just,
Hulk, like Hogan.
They just didn't
Down the
see
throat.
anything in Roman yet, but like if they did, they would have given it to Roman.
Yeah. Well, they saw a lot in Roman. They were just a lot of.
There's
times
been
what
an
happens
Anoa'i
is
in the
they start to
company
put the machine behind
for
somebody
decades.
who's not quite ready yet.
Now they're just dominating.
And a lot of times with our audience and our fan base, if you shove somebody down their throat, then they revolt.
Like Val Venus.
Yeah, well,
Stop it, Justin!
see how he did that? He's in the regular rotation now. Yeah. He's definitely he's coming back.
I can't deal with Justin. But yeah, like down the throat. I mean, I'm just finishing off the podcast with y'all, so We got 5 minutes left.
Like Gold Dust.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought he turned into a Jesus freak during that whole segment, and the whole time it's like he is coming back. Like he was talking about Gold Dust. That was awesome. Do you remember that whole that was fun. And then when Gold Dust came back, I was like, let's go. I love Gold Dust.
When was that? I don't remember that part.
He just lives up north here a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Yeah.
Dusty's favorite.
You got a good wrestling mind on you, man.
Thank you.
Justin's smart.
That's pretty impressive.
It takes a lot of research.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Are you and
Justin-
really brothers?
Yes. Twin sons of different mothers.
He gave me one, like, when he brought it up.
I hate Justin, though.
That
God
was one of them he
bless
told me
it.
to do.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
he's trying to set you up, man.
I was.
Because people say, dude, I was 10 years old when I realized The Undertaker and Kane are not really brothers. Bro, Glenn Jacobs, Mark Calloway. Come on now. Now, granted, when I was a child, like I said, I started watching at 3. My biggest fears were The Undertaker, Papa Shango, and Jake St. Roberts. Terrified of snakes. Terrified. I thought The Undertaker slept in a freaking casket, okay? Like I said, 3 years old.
I was like, yeah, ask him if they're
It's only
Ow,
been within the
sorry.
last couple of years that I even smarten people up. I've always told people, yeah, we're half brothers. Yeah, we're brothers.
I've got one last thing because I know we're getting ready to, You came from the wrestling of kayfabe, right? You stay kayfabe all the time.
Oh my God, for 30 years.
How hard of an adjustment has it been? Because it's not really like that nowadays. Like people have their own online personalities and everything. Right? Was that hard for you to get out?
Yes.
Yeah, and two, even doing this show, sometimes I'll get into I'll get to the story, and I'll get to a point of it, and I'm in my head, I'm battling whether or not how far I want to go with the details because it breaks kayfabe or and.
Hey, it's me, your skin.
Taker!
Clear without irritation.
I mean,
Treats acne and
it's
allows
legit.
you
He
to
would go on talk shows in
I've broken it a
character.
million times, but it's always in my head. Like, do I really want to? Do I really want to say that?
Yes, you do.
You're able now
I want to hear
pick
it.
Mark or The Undertaker.
Yeah, no, Mark and it's kind of all morphed together now.
Mark's mother
Yeah, so what I
worked in a
tried to
funeral
do
home when he was a child.
with the original The Undertaker character is kind of let it rest in peace for no other pun intended. That's why I don't make appearances anymore with the hat and the coat. I did try to.
Oh, you don't?
No, I've tried to let it.
There's no price to get you to do that. Everybody's got
Everybody's got a price.
Everybody's got a
The
price.
$1 million man.
But I try not to.
Yeah.
The number would have to be really, really big, and it would have to make sense somehow or another.
7 digits.
So I really push to kind of more Mark Calloway now because I want to honor that character and the work that I did and all the kayfabe that I did for that character
For 30 years.
If there was something left in the tank,
He
as
wouldn't
far
do
as
this.
me getting back in the ring,
He would not do this.
then I would have to figure out some kind of way to
I think that
something catastrophic to happen to
He
Mark
wouldn't
Calloway to bring
absolutely
that other guy out.
have this
Right.
podcast.
But
if he was
that's
still
just not
able to
gonna
wrestle.
happen. So I want to let that. No.
He went on
be
Regis
corny, but I do wanna
and
let the
Kathy
Undertaker
Lee
kinda
in
rest peace.
character.
And kind of everything now that you see, like the other night on the Netflix deal was, it was the American Badass. or
Yeah, it wasn't
Regis
The
Cole's
Undertaker.
deal.
Like you got two of the coolest down personalities in wrestling. Is you get the American Badass
And the
That's
dead
fun
man.
for me at this point. Yeah. It's so much more fun, and it frees me up to do things like that, where I can kind of cross over and
and be yourself.
yeah,
too,
yeah. Well, man, thanks for coming out.
Like I said, I have questions I would love to
I
ask
appreciate
Shawn
you having me
Michaels
on.
because I've
This is
listened to a
like
lot of his
a dream
interviews,
podcast of mine.
and they're questions I've never heard him
I've
answer.
always wanted to meet you, so it's really cool to walk
Love
in
Justin.
this morning and
June of 2023, I actually wrote a note on my phone of questions I would ask him, and it's not like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite match? It's in-depth questions, and I was just looking at it, and I'm not going to reveal them to anybody because I don't want anyone to ask them but me. But I would love to meet Shawn Michaels. I absolutely adore the man. When I was younger, I got Shawn Michaels earrings as Shawn Michaels, and I got a shirt with him on it. My aunt said, "Excuse me, do you have a naked man on your shirt?" I wish, okay? But yeah, Justin, you are hilarious. I loved that whole interview. it was worth the watch, absolutely. But you got some good questions, and he did not answer the question that Bryant was supposed to ask, was about like the streak. I don't remember it by now. It's 2 a.m. But I enjoyed that episode, Justin. I enjoy your content. And hey, listen, did you know that if you were stuck out in the middle of nowhere wearing nothing but Crocs, you could eat them? So you don't need to stop wearing your Crocs just because they try to kill you. You can eat those suckers. Boil them in water and put some ketchup on it and slap it down. Roll Tide. Go Georgia.